SMF MMTs, it's the opening bell right now. Once again, you're learning how to see what that gap is here on SINA. This is called a right elbow. Yesterday SINA had a left elbow gap down. However, that's called the right elbow gap down, and this right here doesn't stay above 85. It will not hold up in this price action, MMTs, and it's very important that as you see these numbers going wacky, this is what the public is doing right now, MMTs, and this thing is, setting itself up, and the buyers and the sellers are doing it. It all reflects in that IR. Look at that current bid ratio. Look at it. 0.40 is the high, currently 0.31, holding altitude at 0.30, altitude at 3.0, lower than that, slide that bid. We're going to see exactly what the heartbeat is here as far as this 65 reading, because if you don't hold it, you can't hold that price action MMT. So when you're looking at the motion between the bull and the bear, right then and there on the opening bell, is that somewhere you, MMT, are going to make a market between them. And right now, when we watch this thing tank, you slide that bid. And 0.24 is, you broke 0.30 ratio. 0.25 is why it went down, MMT. If you don't hold 35 and higher, here, MMT, you will not consolidate that teeny line, MMT.
Alert Bedouin.
Here you go right here on the opening bell. Options expiration. Why is it holding? Why is it holding MMTs? Because that is elevated. That's why it's holding the price action line on the 12 bar. Okay? And your indexes are all in positive territory at the moment. And you're going to watch carefully within a 15 minutes. That's going to be 3, 6, 9, 12. On the fifth, and one more bar will be 5 of these equals 15 minutes. And you need to stay focused here. And you need to stay focused here. You came up and you did make a ratio high. You are close to that ratio high. And you can break this 0.41 ratio very easily. However, this will have to go to 97. And this will break that ratio high. And you will break up here if that is going to be the case. On the flip side, then there's something quite opposite. Address it. Here we are. If we can break the 65 MMTs, you would come down and break down on the teeny side. Okay. One of the things you want to know, though, is if the TQQQ, the bull, if it's reversing, of course, SINA will reverse with it. So I'm going to pull that up next so that new MMTs can understand. Here we go. The TQQ is a bull. That's this chart, MMT. Right here. That's TQQQ. Now, the relationship with that and SINA are going to be not exactly, immediately, but very, very close to how when this goes weak, the bull does, this will go weak too. And this here is to measure the bull's heartbeat. And then you can measure the intraday range right over here on SINA 73, still elevated. That's why it's holding this price line. But I tell you, on this TQQ, if it breaks higher, you'll go higher. Here. MMTs, when you're looking for shorts, you're looking for a big breakdown like this on that Google chart. Where's the $500 call that's going to come into play on it? Take a look at it now because it is bouncing. Where is the $500 call?
410 by 4.
MMTs, I see a slight little bull down tick here, and SINA still struggling over here. And we're looking at Google making a move here. Now, And is it ever? It's 45 IR. It's qualifying all the way. See that big slide, that bid bar right here on Google? Now take a look at that. 1 teeny up, 2 teenies up, 3 teenies up, 4 teenies up. Look at it grow. And a lot of that is done with electronic bots. And if you don't make the execution quick, you'll always be left behind. But this is what you want to see at a bottom as a qualifier. SINA continues to break out higher over here because it's at 98, 99 on the opening bell. That means that your indexes have gone into positive territory, and the price volatility is within the bid and ask ratios. The thing about Google here, that's what you have to have. This is a mandatory. If you do not ever have this next to that red bar, this is the beginning. It is the beginning. It does qualify because of the teeny expansion. You have more teeny contraction down to the lines, but you can still see here how this is going to get made if it does. It's at 59 IR, and it's very clear, and it's very evident right here, right now. And the major qualifier is you don't have that, you got no business being in it. Now, it's got to hold the half bar. It has to hold the half bar at 502. And you're 37 by 56 pennies with a 31 penny spread. And what does this line mean? MMT is that this is the public model right here. The market maker's creating a 30 penny spread between a buyer and a seller. Now, if we can hold the half bar, fine. But remember how, watch the price spread, because if they sell the other side of the tape, you're going to come down to that half bar and possibly plant through it. So, you know, there isn't much volume on Google right now. And you can take a look at the downside volume bar here. It was 27,000 shares. The upside volume here, MMTs, was, 26,475 shares in this positive up bar. And right now you're qualifying at 55 and higher to hold this half bar on Google. And the rest of the markets are breaking out, MMTs. That's the Google trade. The SINA trade over here seems to coming down and holding at its core level right at 65 to hold this as support, MMTs. So it's very important that once again, when you're in the first 23 minutes or first half hourly trade, is that you want to see what this downside volume bar is, just kind of like we did with Google. It's very important that you always click right there. It will show up down here in your volume. That was 82,000 shares that hit that teeny resistance and dropped it down here. And you won't hold this. The qualifier is to hold 55 here. And if you go below 30, you're going to break that teeny line and come down here. So peg your numbers at 55 to the teeny line. This is a test, but you need to know what that last, let's take a look and see what this volume was over here at the time. That was 204,000, that up volume right here. And basically, a lot of people got in there. Then they made the higher high, but then all of a sudden it dumped. And you're below 55. And if you go below 30, as I said, you break the teeny line. This is the only way that you're going to be able to have comfort in your execution. It's very important to understand that it will not mislead you. As you can see right now, that you are below 55 and you are struggling with the teeny line. And if you go below 30 here, you're going to break down. What we would be looking for is, what is this volume bar looking like right now at 65,000 shares? This one is. And it's important for you to peg it now at 67,000 shares so far. But you broke below 45, 55, and you're breaking that, and you're below 30 there, and this is how the reversals work. But you're always looking for this big red bar. As I've always told you, MMTs, this met the qualifier in your platform here. And it did. because look at the downside volume. Look how it broke the half bar. But it was a red one is what qualifies it. It was a big red one immediately next to the green one, like right now. Like right now. And what you're looking for when you are taking a short debit trade, that's meaning that it falls in price, you make money, is you're looking for this bar to get higher in volume. It's 90,000 shares now, this bar. So far in a 3-minute volume bar. And if you break below 35 here, you will break that teeny line and go down. And if you break below 25 here toward 20, you will come down.
Covered on Yoku.
And basically, the buyers and the sellers right now don't know what to do. Now, what is the market maker going to do? Is it's easy. Slide that bid, start to move, get people to sell down. That's what you want to have happen. You need this bar here to be bigger going downward. It's not totally done yet. It's still in a 3-minute. But you want that confirmation. And what is it? A teeny at least. And you want to drop below 25 here. Because if 35 holds, there you go. You're at that. Now you can start breaking it. And this is exactly what I'm talking about to confirm. Confirmation short. Confirmation short. 1 bar, 2nd bar, here and now live. Half bar here on the slide. The total volume, and that was 139,000 shares MMTs. Half bar MMT, 88.62, and you're below it, 88.30 by 69 pennies. What that price action spread between the public at 8 pennies, 14 pennies, 19 pennies. That's that price public model spread. There it is. If they sell 46s, you go lower. That means they're selling the bid down, MMT. And the platform does all that for you. You don't even have to look into level 2. You know what side, the bid side, if they get hit and they sell that spread right here and this drops, that shows weakness as well. But you got to drop below 25 here. Because if you get back above 35, you're going to be back up. So there's a 3, there's a 6. Now, on a 9 bar MMT, it's very important that you understand one thing. Let's get back over here to the volume side. I got 45,000. I've got a half bar on this current one right now of 88.45 on record right here. That's this current 3-minute bar. Now, when I take a look at this bar at 88.62, I shoot up, but then I need to fall, and this needs to break down like it did. 14 now. Was that 25? But look at, that's where they slide the price. And this has to go weaker, though. This got to go down to 0 now. And this here's got to go below 20. And you can't stay at 25. That you got resistance, but if it gets back above 35, you got to slide the bid into 62 pennies. Half bar right here. So basically, 72,000 shares have traded in this 3-minute new bar. The thing about it is, though, 88.62 is what? That's where they hit it, but then you need to see this drop immediately when they do that as qualifier. That's what the wick is about when it hits the half bar. And you never cover a short into a half bar. You let them go up and hit it. Remember, they're always closing 3-minute bars, MMTs. And you can see the relationship here. Now, if this starts to turn around, we're going to break higher. And if we do break above the 62 penny bar, guess what? Then you have to consolidate on a closing level above it. MMT, half bar, 88.62 pennies. Must go toward 0, must go below 20 to be able to validate. There is no 9 bar, it's very weak. Watch the 62 penny bar. He's trying to crop. There he is. He's 60 by 70 pennies now. Let's see if they slide that bid. And you're above 35. Naturally, of 35 and higher, you're going to stay strong. 35 and lower, you get the little red mark. So it's important to understand that this has got to keep going your way toward below 20 now. MMT. All that was slide the bid so far. Right next to it. You have to have this bar be bigger than this one on the downside now. Okay? Because that's always your confirmation, MMT. And so far, we're still in it, but this needs to be bigger than that green bar. It needs to drop now. And you're not below 20. There's 21. It got close to it. Now let's see what happens. What did MMT? There you go. That's the qualifier, but it's not close. He comes in with the wick and popped it back to 25 by 20. He's got to drop below 20 on that. Is he going to do it? It's at 24. It's being real stubborn. Oh, got to go below 20 over here. This here is at 25. It's real stubborn there at the price. It's not breaking down yet, but then we're still in that 3-minute bar between the buyer and the seller and their emotion, not yours. It's very important to understand that in the execution model, you're simply trading what this says, because this takes care of the public. And right now, you got people wanting to step in, and you got a popping thing above 35, and you're above this half bar. Let's see if it's above the half bar. 62 pennies? No. We're not above this half bar yet. Uh-oh, there he goes. You turned around. Look at that bid pop. Look at the emotion that they can create
Long TQQ.
in the wiggle jiggles here. It's 55 and higher. He's going to come up and test this one. That's 89.27. You need to know it. 89.27 half bar. Right here. Let's see what it does. See how the IR changed around to MMTs? It went totally the opposite way. That's why it's cooking its books now, because it changed. And so did this. It's going back toward 44, 37. We're going to come up and challenge those highs. If this gets toward 90, you're going to break up here. Okay, so you have the 3-6 down with the 3-6 up. This is the SINA training tape on the opening bell, along with Google that was included. The Dow has gone finally into negative territory, everybody. I would be looking at shorting this move. Okay, as long as it stays below 75, you cannot close above that teeny line.